Good evening, children. This presentation is being brought to you by One Mark Solution. This is exam special, and we are taking up case study type of questions for you because you are all aware that in your first term ending board exam, you're going to have multiple choice questions. So in one of the sections, you're going to have case study type of questions wherein you will have a case given to you in the form of a passage. Now, the case can be contextual, or it can be, some kind of a graph or information given in the form of a table, or it can be a real life situation, which will be followed by some multiple choice questions. So you may not get the answer in the passage given to you, but then the questions will be at application level with respect to the context given in the passage. All right. So this is pertaining to life processes, part 3. So let me begin. So this is the short passage given to you. All living cells require energy for various activities. This energy is available by the breakdown of simple carbohydrates, either using oxygen or without using oxygen. So basically, all the questions are going to be centered around aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. That is clear from here. All right, see the first question. Energy in the case of higher plants and animals is obtained by, how is the energy obtained? Breathing, tissue respiration, organ respiration, or digestion of food. See, children, when you talk of breathing, breathing refers to only inhalation and exhalation. It's just that. So, breathing does not release energy. What goes on in the cells is different. Tissue respiration, yes. Organ respiration is incorrect. Digestion of food is just breaking down of the complex food molecules into simpler forms. But then this, after digestion, is going to be absorbed into the blood and then taken to the tissues, where oxygen will be used up to break down absorbed food, and energy would be released. This is tissue respiration. So the right answer over here is tissue respiration. All right. Look at this graph. You have the time on the x-axis and the lactic acid concentration in the blood on the y-axis. So as the time passes, please see what happens to the lactic acid concentration. And ultimately at D, it reaches its peak, the maximum lactic acid concentration. All right. Now, the graph here represents the blood lactic acid concentration of an athlete during a race of 400 meters and show a peak at point D. See, at this point, you see maximum lactic acid concentration. The blood of an athlete was tested before, during, and after 400 meters race. And based on his lactic acid concentration in the blood, this graph was plotted. Now, the question is, lactic acid production has occurred in the athlete while running in the 400 meters race. Which of the following processes explains this event? Now, you should be clear that lactic acid is produced during anaerobic respiration. Lactic acid is not produced during aerobic respiration. Fermentation. Fermentation can be alcoholic fermentation also. So it's not very specific, so we will not choose this. Breathing. Breathing is just an inhalation and exhalation process, and it does not involve release of energy. So the right answer should be anaerobic respiration, because here in 400 meters race, when the athlete runs, he runs fast right from the beginning. So the amount of oxygen that is required, or the enormous amount of energy that the athlete needs, is not available. So the muscle cells respire anaerobically, and in that process, lactic acid is produced. See, lactic acid production goes on increasing, and after about 1 minute, it reaches its peak. And after that, it would decline, because by then the heart rate of the athlete would increase, resulting in intake of more oxygen. So more energy would be released, and slowly uh, lactic acid would dissolve away. All right. So the right answer here should be anaerobic respiration. All right. Look at this graph. On the x-axis, you have time in minutes. And on the y-axis, you have energy supplied, or in other words, energy being used. In plot A, you see energy is slowly increased, and then after a while, it becomes consistent. Whereas in plot B, you find lot of energy is released in a short while of time, and after which the energy consumption has decreased. So as the time passes, it decreases. This is the graph given to you. Study the graph here that represents the amount of energy supplied with respect to the time while an athlete is running at full speed. All right. So choose the correct combination of plots and justification provided in the following table. A table is given to you for plot A and plot B. The justification is given to you here. You have to choose the correct combination. See, in A, the energy consumption increases slowly and then becomes consistent. So from the graph, we understand that aerobic respiration happens here. In plot B, it is anaerobic respiration, because a lot of energy is used in the beginning and further it decreases. So plot A aerobic and plot B anaerobic is correct. See, here itself we can eliminate C and D options, because in C, it says plot A is anaerobic, D also. So these two are eliminated right over here in the first step itself. We have to choose between A and B. So let us look at the justification now. A says amount of energy is low and inconsistent in aerobic and high in anaerobic. Amount of energy is inconsistent in aerobic, but here it shows it is consistent. So this does not seem correct. B is amount of energy is high and consistent in aerobic and low in anaerobic. All right. So this is what we see over here. So the right answer here should be B, which says plot A is aerobic, plot B is anaerobic, and the amount of energy is high and consistent in aerobic and low in anaerobic. Just the beginning, more energy is utilized, but after that, it decreases. So the right answer here, option should be B. The characteristic process observed in anaerobic respiration are. So you can have more than one answer, like presence of oxygen in anaerobic respiration. So this is incorrect. Anaerobic respiration happens in the absence of oxygen or lack of oxygen. Release of carbon dioxide, yes. Release of energy, yes. Though less energy is released in anaerobic respiration as compared to aerobic respiration, but energy is released. Release of lactic acid, yes, especially in the muscles. Lactic acid is released in the anaerobic respiration. So 2, 3, and 4 seem to be right. So should be C? Yes, the correct answer is C. Release of carbon dioxide, energy, and lactic acid happens in anaerobic respiration. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Last question in this series. Okay, a table is given to you over here. Study the table below and select the row that has the incorrect information. See, children, you have to pick out the incorrect information. So this is pertaining to aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Location. Aerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm. Anaerobic, mitochondria. See, this is incorrect. The first step, the glycolysis, takes place in the cytoplasm, after which aerobic respiration takes place in mitochondria, whereas anaerobic respiration in the cytoplasm itself. So this first option seems to be incorrect, but then don't be in a haste. Please do read all the options carefully and then choose. End product in aerobic respiration, carbon dioxide and water. That's correct. In anaerobic, ethanol and carbon dioxide. That's all. That's correct. Amount of ATP, energy, is high in aerobic, correct? Low in anaerobic. That's correct. The oxygen is needed in aerobic, not needed in anaerobic. So this is also correct. So B, C, D are correct. Option A seems to be incorrect. All right. Yes, the correct answer is A. Aerobic in cytoplasm and anaerobic in mitochondria. This is incorrect. All right. So this was it. Children, do join the 1 Mark family. Please do like, follow, and subscribe. 1 Mark Solution. Thank you very much.